This is the Padua Podcast Network.
By our nature, humans are communal, tribal creatures. We need the presence, companionship, and togetherness. We need other people in our lives. Running a Fever, episode 146. I did want to talk a little bit about accountability. Welcome to Running a Fever. My name's Michael Davis. I love my life today. I'm out in the state park on a Tuesday. I mean, does it get any better than that? I don't know. Oh, it's good to be outside. It is good to be out in nature. You ought to do this. I mean, just go on a Tuesday afternoon, get off work early, put the kids at the babysitter or something, I don't know, or bring them with you. Whatever you have to do, and just go out and get in nature. I mean, it's going to probably be the high point of my week. And I'm so glad to be out here because I've been, I had to have this ankle injury, and so I haven't, last episode, you heard about my first trip back to the gym. That's really exciting, but I didn't want to do that every day this week. And so now I'm getting out and I'm doing something different, and I'm going and getting some walking in today. I've got some interesting episodes coming up, of course. And one of the things that I said I was going to do, that I promised you back in episode 100, the 100th special episode, was that I was going to talk about longevity a lot more. And I've come across some information about centenarians, and we're probably going to have a series about centenarians and their lives, all of the questions that people ask, is this real? Documentation, all that stuff. Mainly how they live and how they are able to live such long lives. There's a way that you can be famous just for living a long time. I was working on it today, but I decided that I would go ahead and just go out to the park. And one reason is because of an event that we have in the aviation department here at Running Fever. Aviation department, you say? Yes, aviation department. We have an aviation department. Interesting fact that doesn't really have much bearing on today, but I am a licensed private pilot since, I believe it was 1992 when I got my pilot's license. But I'm not the one who's going to be flying today. I have radio-controlled helicopter. It's got a camera on it, and that is going to be our video for today. By the way, video is becoming a really, important part of my media campaign. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to YouTube, and you can do it on your phone, on your iPad, your Microsoft Surface, your Android device, PC, desktop, whatever you have that can access the internet. You go to youtube.com. Actually, easiest way to get there is runningafever.com/YouTube. You can see all of the videos that I have that I've been working really hard to make that a really good experience for you and add additional material. And not only are you going to see me, for a long time I've had just the episodes in the picture on YouTube, and that's all I had. Now I've got a lot more video. I've got a daily vlog that's not even in the podcast. So I really, I want you to go there, and I want you to check it out, and let me know what you think. You can comment on any of those videos, and you can always send me an email. Go to the contact page at runningafever.com if you want to go ahead and make that happen. The new photographer is a robot pilot, basically. My goal, as I'm talking about YouTube, is to have video for every episode of the podcast. I'm in the amphitheater area of Devil's Den State Park, which is open and kind of not really occupied very much at the moment. Got it mostly to myself, but I see a picture over there, or a truck over there doing something, and I've seen a number of people out as I was driving to get here. So I want to take this opportunity to go ahead and kind of tell you what's going on. Like yesterday, I went to the gym for the first time in more than 3 weeks and did pretty well. That last podcast was about that, so I don't want to say a whole lot about it, but I did decide that after that I was going to do probably one more weight workout this week, and the rest is going to be a couple times I want to come out and just walk. And I'm going to actually do that. Yeah, this is a nice little area. I like it, and it's a beautiful day. I really think it's kind of awesome to be out here on a Tuesday and just walking around in nature, and it's in the 60s, something like that. I think it got up to 70 today, or maybe it's going to, I don't know, in some areas. I'm kind of in an elevated area here in the Boston Mountains out at Devil's Den State Park. And so I put on my old hoodie and came out here, but yeah, it's certainly short sleeve weather if you want. I'm not really working up a sweat now anyway, unfortunately, but yeah, so it's really nice, really nice. So, I mean, I never expect a place like this to be completely abandoned. And on the way out here, I had another thought, and I was thinking that it'd be a good idea because they have these cabins here. Just come out here in the winter and get a cabin in the winter time. That would be pretty nice. I don't know if they have fireplaces or anything cool like that, but they do. I mean, it looks like, I don't know. I was trying to think of the ideal, rustic getaway experience, but it doesn't have to be ideal. I can just try it. It's the great thing about something you've never done before. You can just try it. I don't see a lot of danger in doing that in this situation. Feeling pretty good today. I am the president, CEO, and chief bottle washer at Running a Fever. I do have some help though, because we are a part of the Padua Podcast Network, and you can see all 4 shows, including the latest edition, Becky Carter's Thriving in the Trenches podcast, which has been going on for several years, but has just now found the Padua Podcast Network. PaduaPodcastNetwork.com, and you can see all 4 podcasts there. See the podcast, there's a concept. A lot of sunlight. It's daylight savings time, so and you go out at 8 o'clock at night, it's still bright. Get up in the morning and it's dark, and it's not even winter anymore. I'm just cruising around now. It just kind of boggles your mind how most people die in their 80s. I don't know, I was hearing recently that the millennial generation would be the first, that their average life expectancy is going to be 90 and above. And some people live to be 121. I don't know. So this amphitheater's got a very small stage. It's kind of like a movie screen. There's a white painted board behind some green folding door type things. It's kind of cool, and it's just in the woods here. They do have electricity. They've got lights out here, and I'm guessing they can plug in some kind of projector. Of course, you could use batteries for that. And I'm just walking on. There's a couple of little paths leading from parking areas to the amphitheater, and I'm just walking along one of those. Leaves on the ground, which is weird. You kind of think of that in fall, right? But there are leaves on the ground. This could be autumn right now, except there's probably not as many leaves on the trees themselves. That's funny. My yard has lots of weeds in it. Didn't wear my new kicks out here today because I wasn't sure what the ground was going to be like, and they still look pretty good. So I'm just cruising. I'm actually cruising down a road right now. So I don't want to get my shoes dirty. I guess long story short there. Long story longer. But I have been, I kind of got the green light from the dock, right? Okay, I've got 3,700 steps today. I just really been wanting to say, like I said once before, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I need to get out and put some steps on the clock. Start really doing this thing, even if it's walking more at the office or whatever. One thing that is true of all success and all successful people, and it's common to all of that, is persistence. And so I'm out here again, persisting. And I've done it over the years, even though I've had long periods of time when I wasn't really taking care of myself. I always had the idea that I would get back into it. And I think the quicker you do, the better off you are. And this time I was really feeling it, I didn't have to be out for 6 weeks or anything, but almost a month. It's a long time, It'd be easy to get sedentary and figure that out. But I didn't gain a ton of weight, but again, I have not been as lean as I want to be. So good to get out here and do some, burn a few calories. But more than that, just for my mental health, is to get out here, get out in nature, hear some birds. There's some people with campers in this area I'm walking through right now. Just kind of walking through the trees in a little park area, and we're getting close to the river or the creek or whatever it is, and discover a new area. This is a new place for me. I haven't been, my feet have never set foot on this area before. Another thing too, I don't have an RV. Do you have an RV? I'd like to know what it's like. Is it worth it? To give you an advantage, allow you to do things you wouldn't otherwise do. Sometime after 6 now. It's an hour drive time for me to get here. It's 6:15. And then I get lost. That's a characteristic of me as a driving person, is getting lost. Sometimes it's a good thing. If you get lost, getting lost, I've found I've moved over 20 times in my life, and I found that getting lost is sometimes the best way to find your way around a new place, because you wind up going down, trails that wind up being dead ends, but at least you've been down there. You just kind of cover a lot of ground. So I'm trying to justify my dialogue here with myself. I did want to talk a little bit about accountability, because that's an important thing. And like I was saying, you can't do this yourself. It's by our nature, humans are communal, tribal creatures. We need the presence, companionship, and togetherness. We need other people in our lives. And what that allows us to do is to be accountable. I'm accountable, and here's my experience. I think the main thing that has gotten me the success that I've achieved in the year and a half, and by success I mean losing weight, staying active. I've been exercising regularly for a year and a half, except for my injuries. And even sticking to a diet. Even though I'm not perfect, this year and a half has been the healthiest probably of my entire life. I think the reason that I've been able to achieve that success has been accountability to you, the listener. It's important for me to keep these episodes coming. And if I have to talk to you every day, I don't want to tell you, well, I'm just giving up and I'm laying on the couch staring at the ceiling talking to you right now just because I wanted to get another episode out. Coming to you live, it's a beautiful day on my couch. Fortunately, I do not have a couch, nor do I have a TV. It doesn't keep me from being sedentary completely, but it helps. Because those things have magnetic properties. You know, magnetic properties of the couch and the TV. I'm glad I don't have those things, not really planning to get any anytime soon. People keep telling me, get a couch, get a recliner, someplace comfortable to sit. Don't want to be comfortable when I'm sitting. I want to be comfortable out here in the Boston Mountains, walking around, breathing the fresh air. And another component of that is honesty, because it doesn't work without honesty. I mean, you're not, it's a distorted sort of community that you're trying to live. It's distorted because you don't get the full benefit of that. And it's easy to be, we can be dishonest even with ourselves, but somehow, and it's a lot easier to do that. It's called rationalization. It's a lot easier to do that if I don't talk about it. If it's somewhere deep inside my mind where all those processes are going, and every little thing can be reanalyzed and twisted, and that's what our brain does. Our brain does some amazing stuff, and there's reasons for that. But if we don't talk about what's going on, and we don't do it honestly, because being dishonest is the same as not talking about it and keeping it in your head. The only difference is you're not just being dishonest with yourself, I'm being dishonest with others as well. And in the process, damaging that relationship that as a human being is very important. It's so important to our well-being and success. By getting that information honestly out of my head, and I don't have, you're not in front of me right now, but I know you're listening. It's words that I'm speaking and they're out there, and that is different than having them in my head. It makes it more difficult to rationalize. Something may make complete sense to me. There may be a really good reason why I ate crackers and drank a Dr. Pepper coming down here. I had all things, kind of things going on in my head. You know, I need the energy, I need some carbs. And so I'm going to have these empty calories and this salty, fatty thing. Now I've said it, I'm honest with you. That helps me, to understand. And I mean, it's a good example. I guess that's the only good reason. The only good thing about it is it's a good example of what I'm talking about. This is a beautiful place. And I can see the sun is coming through the trees. It's not overhead really anymore, but it's still up there. It's not dipped below the trees. And it's a pretty comfortable temperature, but even after walking around a little bit, I'm not too warm at all. So don't try to do it on your own. You know, persistence, community, all these things are important. One of the things that I'm going to talk about when I talk about these centenarians is their activity level. Because most of them, they're not dying. I mean, they're dying, but they're not spending the last 20 years of their lives bedridden, because they wouldn't live that long. I mean, you don't just live that long. without being active. So you gotta keep moving. Keep on moving. Don't stop. Da-da-dee-da-da. Da-da-dee-da. I probably can't sing this because of copyright reasons. Probably. Not to mention, I'm probably just butchering it completely. Keep on moving, don't stop. Keep on moving, don't stop. No. Keep on moving, don't stop. Gonna get an old Honda Civic and head on back to the Running a Fever World headquarters. Man, thanks for joining me out here and helping me be accountable, sharing the beauty with me. And if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't have it, go out and get it, man. Love your life. And I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.